Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with all the intriguing stories from the camps of our Super Eagles and Super Falcons. Before I proceed with the details of the stories coming up, if you are new here, subscribe to, hit on the post notification bell for more updates. Let's like this video together and share to other social media platforms. At least we need to leave something decently in the comment box for special shoutouts in my subsequent videos. As usual, your only Ghanaian who has declared his full support for Nigeria sports with a Nigeria name, the only one, Solomon Chukwu Emeka. Or more straightforward, let's get into the details of the stories and start from the camp of our senior female national team, the Super Falcons, and the 2026 WAFCON tournament, which is scheduled to take place in Morocco from the 26th of this month, July 2026, through to the 16th of August 2026. And our Super Falcons are set to compete for their 11th continental crown, as this WAFCON 2026 promises to be more significant and historic because it will be serving as a qualification pathway for the 2027 Women's World Cup tournament in Brazil between June and July 2027. And automatically, the 4 semi-finalists will make it to this World Cup. Others will be adding up, but their paths for qualification will be very complicated. Now, let's focus for the latest reports from the camp of our Super Falcons, joined up as the defending champions for this WAFCON 2026. Per reports suggest that the team will open their camp on the 15th of July 2026. Today is the 7th of July. 8 days later, they will resume to camp and they'll be camping in Morocco, Mohammedia. Mohammedia is a coastal city between Rabat and Casablanca. A week after they are camping in Mohammedia, they'll be relocating to Rabat. That is where they'll be basing before we start the WAFCON 2026. But we'll be playing all our matches in Casablanca, so please take note of all these things. Mohammedia is a coastal city between Rabat and Casablanca, but during the tournaments, we are going to start our camping in Rabat and play all our matches in Casablanca. Rabat and Casablanca is very short. You'll be covering a time around 1 hour if you are going by train, so you can factor in when you are going by car or by flight. So there's a quick one surrounding their camping. Quickly, let's talk extensively about the fixtures. Please take note of all these so that you get to know the specific time and where our Super Falcons will be playing all their group matches. The first game will take place on the 28th of this month. So 28th of July 2026 will be the first game for our Super Falcons against Malawi. Exactly 8 p.m. Ghana time, 9 p.m. Nigeria time at the Labi Zaoli Stadium in Casablanca. On the 1st of August 2026 will be their second group game. That will be against Zambia at the same venue, Labi Zaoli Stadium in Casablanca. Same time as the first game, 8 p.m. Ghana time, 9 p.m. Nigeria time. And our last group game will take place on the 5th of August 2026. Same time, 8 p.m. Ghana time, 9 p.m. Nigeria time at the same venue, Labi Zaoli Stadium in Casablanca. Nigeria versus Egypt. So our first game will be against Malawi, second game against Zambia, and our third game against Egypt. It's going to be tightly contested for our Super Falcons. But as defending champions, I know we'll be going through the group stage, and let's see how best we can go to the knockout stage and also go in for the ultimates at the 11th count for our Super Falcons. And there's a quick one from their camp. Now let me also talk from the camp of the Super Eagles and our players. The first player to talk about is our very own Switch-Nwabali'S. He's very eager to returning to playing, but he's not just going to accept any offer at this moment. These are some of the reasons why it has kept long for him to get a club, as expected from Switch-Nwabali'S. In quotes, I would say that he has become stubborn in getting a club. It's not just going for any offer at this moment. And he was said to have received what we call an offer from a Saudi Arabian club. But at this time, looking at how it has been for him, this was a significant value for him as an option financially for Switch-Nwabali'S. But the club is not showing keen interest again. They've cooled down in pursuing for Switch-Nwabali'S, and it might be very difficult for coming for him. And the second one is that other clubs in Saudi Arabia have still contacted Switch-Nwabali'S, but as to whether it will materialize, it remains to be seen how it will develop in the coming days. So this is a quick one from the camp of our very own Switch-Nwabali'S. He's very eager to return to playing. But looking at how things are going, we are going to start the next AFCON qualifiers in September. And if he doesn't get a good club, or if he doesn't get a club to start at this moment, things will be very difficult for him to be part of the Super Eagles team. And this is a quick one from the camp of our very own Switch-Nwabali. In yesterday's updates, I spoke about players of Nigerian descent born in Europe who are ever ready to represent our Super Eagles. I spoke about Ethan Iroegbunam and also spoke about Oluwatosin Adarabiayu. Now let's also talk about this player, Timothy Emeka Iroegbunam, who plays his club football for Everton. Let me give a background check of who he is before I talk extensively about how conversations have been eager to play for our Super Eagles. He has made several approaches in attempts to play for our Super Eagles. He's in line, he's in the pipeline to play for our Super Eagles. He was born on the 30th of June 2003, so he is 23 years. He plays his club football for Everton. He has risen through the youth sides of other clubs in England, but specifically at this time he's playing for Everton. He plays predominantly as a central midfielder. He can also play as a defensive midfielder. This player was born in England to Nigerian parents, so he's eligible, or he's having that mandatory decision to go for England or Nigeria. And his parents are profoundly deaf, and he has also learned the sign language so that he can communicate with his parents. That is a British sign language. So he's very okay when it comes to communicating using the British sign language. That is what he uses with his parents, who are profoundly deaf. Now let's also talk about him, who has represented the youth nationals of England. The last time for him in any other youth side for England was their under 20. That was last 2 years. He came off from the bench and he also contributed in the under 20 as a player or as a substitute. That was in 2024, and he had his breakthrough in Everton just last season. He played 29 games as a central midfielder and as a defensive midfielder. He didn't score, he provided 3 assists, and the right moment for him to decide on his international future is at this time. After he has had a breakthrough, he has to sit down and get to know how best things will be for him at this moment. Now, according to the latest reports coming in, our very own head coach, Monsieur Eric Sekwuchel, and other staffs from the Nigerian Football Federation have contacted his representatives, and I tell you emphatically, per reports suggest that we have very positive news and feedback from his camp, as he's ever ready to represent our Super Eagles. At this moment, what they are seeking for is to know the path that they will go through for him to change his nationality from England to Nigeria. Definitely by the end of this year, if you are waiting for his inclusion in the Super Eagles, and if he's ever ready to represent us, he'll get to know how things will go, pass through all the nationality switch processes, and come and play for the Super Eagles. So this is quick updates about Timothy Emeka Iroegbunam, who plays his club football for Everton. Quickly, let me buttress Everton with his performance, especially last season, how he dominated in the English Premier League for Everton. So looking at his performance, let's have a full glare on our screens. So these are the numbers so far last season. So last season, he played 29 matches. He started 7 of them in the English Premier League for Everton. With a 17 started, he started 17 of them. With the 17 started, his minutes per game was 52. His total minutes played is 1,505. Team of the week, we didn't see him in any. Distance covered as a defensive midfielder is 10.3 kilometers. Numbers of sprints as a defensive midfielder and as a central midfielder is 14.4. Top speed as a midfielder is 35.7 kilometers per hour. So you can look at the time, distance covered on the pitch to know how he can cover spaces on the field of play as a midfielder. So with goals, he didn't score any. With goals per game, as I've spoken about. Assists, he gave 3. Total shots, you can see all the numbers on your screens and how he dominated in the colors of Everton. The best moment for him to take a decision on his international future. So Everton as a midfielder, let's talk about his attributes as a midfielder. Key passes, averagely 0.3. Big chances created as a central midfielder. He created 3 big chances with the 17 matches that he started out of 29 for Everton. Accurate passes as a central midfielder. These are very, very key that we have to pay critical attention to. Averagely, he had 13.8, representing 81%. Accuracy at his own half, at Everton's half, as a midfielder, 5.5, representing 87%. Long balls as a midfielder, 0.3, representing 53%. Accurate cheap passes, just chipping the ball, 0.4, representing 52%. Accurate crosses, 0%. So interceptions as a midfielder, 0.8. Tackles per game, 2.3. Balls recovered per game, 2.3. Can have a full glare of all the numbers. If I'm talking about him, you get to know all the statistics to know who he is on the field of play. I needed to buttress it with this evidence for you to know who this player, Timothy Emeka Iroegbunam, is for his club side Everton, and how beneficial he will be to the Super Eagles team. So with all these attributes, Monsieur Eric Sequechel, his paramount target for pursuing for this player is that he wants him to be a long-term solution and a replacement for the Super Eagles midfield, and a replacement for our very own Capitano, Wilfred Ndidi. So this is why he wants to go in for our very own Emeka Timothy Iroegbunam, who plays his club football for Everton. You will follow and keep you updated up to speed one for you to know how things have transpired among all these players. When it comes to players born in Europe switching to play for Nigeria, I'm very, very happy because they always come in and dominate. We've seen all the players that have been coming in, not like other countries that you don't see their exploit, but these players, when they come, they try as much as they can to put in their efforts. And I've seen a lot under our very own head coach Eric Sequechel. Anytime he scouts European born of Nigerian descent for the Super Eagles team, I tell you, we see some differences among how they can and dominate in the colors of the Super Eagles. Let's hope for the best as we can get the best to represent us going forward, especially the AFCON qualifiers and the next World Cup qualifiers. On this note, I will draw the curtains down here as I was being supported by my hardworking chief editor, Emmanuel Kwame Asedu, and my amazing graphic designer, John. Before I take a leave of you, let me show appreciation by giving special shout out to these amazing commenters under my previous videos. Special shout out to Emily 12345. I do appreciate your support. Special shout out to Jeff. I do appreciate the support of Gregory. Special shout out to Edward Pepperson. Eugene Opala, I do appreciate your support. Gabriel Inketi, I do appreciate your support. Kingdom Voice TV, I do appreciate your support. Silas Manassas, I do appreciate your support. And to Treshman Lomo, I do appreciate your support. Divinity Jones, I do appreciate your support. Ola Baji, I do appreciate your support. Uchechi, I do appreciate your support. Demilola, I do appreciate your support. Kunle Akinjuli, I do appreciate your support. Teddy Flesh, I do appreciate your support. Richard Oluderi, I do appreciate your support. And to other cherished commenters and viewers under my previous posts and under this video, I do appreciate the support of all. God richly bless us all and meet in the subsequent ones. I do appreciate the love you've shown so far for this platform. God richly bless us all. Let's meet in the next one. It's bye-bye for now.